Hi there, Declan Walsh here from the Mad Ravens, and we're a musical theatre company based here in Sligo in the gorgeous northwest of Ireland. And over the next 15 to 20 minutes, we're absolutely delighted to bring you a new Nativity play written by Shaun Purcell, including 5 new pieces of music for these specific times. In fact, we were due to perform one of Shaun's other original musicals, The Boy from the Far Side of the Moon, back in March, but as with an awful lot of other things, COVID has taken care of that temporarily. But we're hoping to perform that in the Hawkswell Theatre in November 2021. And we're also delighted to be associated with Sligo Culture Night, which happened here in September, performing another one of Shaun's pieces, I Am of Sligo. Anyway, put on the Christmas jumper, put on the Christmas candle, sit back, relax, and hopefully over the next 15 or 20 minutes, this will give you a nice little bit of Christmas cheer. Have a very, very happy Christmas and the very, very best wishes for 2021. Enjoy.
This is simply a story that's been told for 2,000 years. But it's a story of hope. It identifies what is special in us humans. For some, it is essential to their faith.
Some see in it the divine.
Some, a celebration.
But at a time of great challenge like this, for all the world it is an inspiring tale. A tale of the triumph of good over evil.
We're going to share it with you now in words and song, and hope it shines a light on your Christmas.
In this world that we live, it's time to cast a spell on the people. It moves like a frog and it seeps from pillar to steeple. Our feet tread in iron mud, sunk in by mud. Our eyes search the sky for the stars. We're tired and we're full to the ground, but we fight and we're not lying down. Our eyes search the sky for the stars. Understand the rose has thorns, but the blossom will bloom. Shine your light, show us the flame. This too will pass, be not afraid. Why these words prevail? Shine your light, show us the flame.
Let's try not to be too sophisticated and simply take the tale for its feel-good factor. It was 2,000 years ago after all, and it was in a land far away, although the world is a lot smaller for us nowadays. If you look too deeply into the tale, you will become distracted by politics and political correctness.
So, for a change, listen to the tale with childlike attention and let it warm your heart and your imagination.
As I said, 2,000 years ago, there was a young Jewish woman named Mary, and she lived in Nazareth. She was told she was going to have a baby, and this was going to be a very special baby.
But all mothers think their babies are unique and special, and rightly so. So there's nothing unusual about that, is there? And suspend your cynicism as to whether she was told by a doctor or an angel. Sure, aren't all doctors angels when we think of what they have to do? What is certain is that her soon-to-be husband loved her. For despite our modern interpretation of the situation, he must have been a bit confused, and maybe even afraid.
But he stuck by her, and was probably just as excited about the whole affair as she was.
she would bring joy to everyone. Oh Mary, here is the light of the sun. Let his words be spoken, let God's will be done.
I am the handmaid, thy will be done. I will be glad to give birth to a son. He will be mighty, the light of my eye, and that light will shine like the stars in the sky.
And yes, she was fair, yes, the fairest of all, and she would bring joy to everyone. Oh Mary, here is the light of the sun. Let his words be spoken, let God's will be done.
Just like in our times, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. Even then, census was a valuable, if limited, tool from the point of view of statistics and heritage. Every man in the Roman Empire was required to return to his birthplace to be counted. To establish the date of the birth, scholars have looked at the alignment of the stars, references to historical events mentioned in the Nativity accounts, and working backwards to the life and work of Jesus. As always with the Bible, there are contradictions as to within whose reign the birth of Jesus took place. Somebody made an error, and how unusual is that? Scholars can make their own conclusions, but that will not impact on our story.
Caesar Augustus issued a law for a census to be taken. The Romans ruled by law, and order none would dare forsaken. So Joseph left for Bethlehem, the town of David's line, and Mary, soon to be his wife, would see the stars align.
The next part of the story is where there are often very funny anecdotes told of school nativity plays gone wrong. Joseph arriving with his wife about to give birth, and there was no room at the inn. One disgruntled little innkeeper who didn't get the part of Joseph, against his teacher's direction, wrongly welcomes Mary to come in, but tells Joseph to take a hike. Or the kid who said his car was in the shed. Or even the kid who explained it was Christmas Eve and their busiest time of the year. Anyway, Mary gives birth to her firstborn, a son, and she wraps him in swaddling clothes and places him in a manger. And how this scene has caught our imagination and brought many a tear to an eye. A manger in a stable, a cow and a donkey to keep them warm, and the smiling mam and dad gazing adoringly at the glowing, smiling baby who was to bring such joy. There were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their sheep, and they have yet to arrive and add to the romanticised image of the stable in Bethlehem.
Out in the fields the shepherd lads sleep. All was their lives minding their sheep. A light appeared and shone all around, and they in dread they fell to the ground. Rise up, my sons, and have no fear. I bring you news that Christ is near. The stars shone brightly from up in the skies, and a voice commanded that they arise. Some were shaken and others was confused, but the voice that spoke declared the good news. Rise up, and have no fear. I bring you news that Christ is near. Then let us rise and make our way to see the child asleep in the hay. They went to the town of Bethlehem, and many other folks came after them.
So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby, who was lying in the manger.
When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning all that had been told to them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds had said to them. They were feeling pretty good about themselves, as you can imagine. After all, what they had been told they'd find in the stable turned out to be true.
So they headed back to the stable, and Mary must have felt pretty chuffed and cherished this moment for memory.
This should have been the end of the Nativity story, but there's a twist. You see, the Romans were a bit sceptical about all the rumours that were flying around about the birth of a new king. You can imagine, can't you? And to add fuel to their insecurities, these three kings, or magi as they were called, appeared in the town from the east, talking about a star they had followed. And they were talking about one who was being born King of the Jews, and they were coming to worship him. Well, you can imagine that put the heebie-jeebies up the Romans.
And when Herod heard of this, he wasn't one bit happy, and in fact all of Jerusalem with him. So what does he do?
He calls all the chief priests and teachers of the law together, and what they told him didn't cheer him up too much either. They told him what was written by the prophet. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are by no means least amongst the leaders of Judea. For out of you will come a ruler, who will be the shepherd of my people Israel.
So Herod, being the sneaky devil he was, invited the three kings over before their journey and pretended he too wanted to go and worship the new king. Wearing his most deceitful smile, he told them to let him know where and when the baby was born.
But the three kings were the good guys and had a fair idea of what Herod was up to. So they went on their way and followed the star until it stopped over the place where the child was. You can be sure that was the last Herod ever saw of them.
In the skies there shines a star, bright and true it lights afar. From the east there came three kings, bearing distant tidings. Gloria, Gloria, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Let us all rejoice and sing. Glory to the newborn King. Do not fear the cold winds blast. Do not fear the storm won't last. Bring me hope and bring me joy. Come and see this baby boy. Gloria, Gloria, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Share the hope, the tale imparts. Let the story warm our hearts.
Son